First of all, a big thank you to everybody. I've been told on this occasion, whenever my name is called out, I have to doff my hat. So it's as kind and wonderful as it is for you to be calling out my name, but I can't be standing here doing this the whole day. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you to everybody present here, the Chancellor, Mr. John Brumby, Professor Susan, all the other faculty members, the parliamentarians, distinguished parliamentarians, Meethu, Caroline Pitcher, all the students here, for giving me this opportunity to be here this afternoon. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful for having me over here, and very touched by the big python, which that's my first time where I've ever touched a snake. So thank you. That's the first time, lifetime experience, and it can only happen in La Trobe University. So thank you. So it is indeed a privilege for me to receive this honorary doctorate today. I feel a little like a cheat though, because our work at Mir Foundation isn't intended to be rewarded except by the meaning that it brings to all our lives. When I first decided to start a foundation that worked towards the rehabilitation of acid attack victims, it was an idea that came to me directly from my everyday experience. I work with women for whom beauty is a professional demand. I see how the demand impacts their lives, even when they are physically the most beautiful women in the country, or perhaps even in the world. I experienced firsthand the superficiality of social values that place a woman's appearance before her inner worth. I wanted to subvert that idea, to create a space in which a woman can be freed of these archaic notions and the true source of her beauty could be celebrated. As I was thinking of a way to create this space, I happened to meet a couple of ladies who I'll just mention their names. One lady was Reshma, a young lady who just somehow did not agree to a proposal of a man for wedding, and he took her back, took his back on her by throwing acid on her face. She must have been 19, 20 at that time. There's another lady I met, her name is Mamta, who was married to a man who turned out to be extremely abusive physically and mentally. She even tried not to carry his child, just in case it becomes an issue for the baby too, but he forced her to have the child, and then threw acid on her face. Both these women, when I speak to them, when I spoke to them, when I met them, one of them said to me that I would never let this man win, because I have decided not to lose, and as long as I have decided not to lose, this man cannot have victory over my life. The other lady still believes in the beauty of love, so I will excuse myself and say one of the poems she recites and keeps sending them to me. Her name is Mamta, and the poem is प्यार करने वाले मिलते हैं, आंखों से करते हैं बात, प्यार करने वाले आंखों से करते हैं बात, ख्वाबों में मिलकर करते हैं मुलाकात, वैसे तो आसमां भी रोता है ज़मीं के लिए, हम लोग उसको समझते हैं बरसात. So this is which roughly translated means just keep on making love, and it's a good thing to do that. So here were women who had been It's that time of equality and a lot of courage for me to do this, yeah? So these were women who had been brutally attacked for no explicable reason. Their physical features were damaged almost beyond repair, but their inner resources of courage, strength, and resilience were stronger than any of the most accomplished women or men that I had ever met. It was that day that I knew the work of the Mir Foundation would truly be worthwhile if it could enable and empower the lives of women like these, and help turn their bravery into resource for other women who battle the kind of suffering that they had. I'm proud to say that we have shared in the valiant journeys of young women. We have learned life's deepest lessons from them, and our admiration for them grows every moment. This award is not an award for anything that our foundation might have done or achieved, It is an award for the courage of every woman who faces the brutality of injustice, inequality, and inhumanity. I'm deeply grateful to the university, the La Trobe University. Do I pronounce it right? La Trobe. La Trobe. Okay. I'm deeply grateful to La Trobe University for its graciousness in offering scholarships for the education of young girls from my country. We live in a world that is increasingly plagued by the sharing of negative sentiments and a narrowing of humanity. More often than not, societies are tending to reward anger and hatred rather than nurture compassion and love. To have flown across oceans to another continent and been received in the name of compassion and sharing is a testament to the fact that despite all the ugliness that we see in the world today, there persists in the fabric of humanity a deep conviction of love and cooperation. It is in this conviction that our world will sustain its beauty and our lives will break false barriers and touch one another with truth. I'm extremely touched and grateful by your graciousness and your kindness to women students, to all the students who are present here. And I doff my hat a million times for all of you who are calling me SRK, and Shah Rukh. Thank you very much for having me over here. Thank you all for taking out time for me. May Allah bless you and give you happiness and health always. And thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shah Rukh. Thank you.
You shot a film in Melbourne some years ago now, but you're back as part of the film festival. What is it like for you being back here, number one, and then in comparison to other places that you've travelled to? Because you're a different level of superstardom in certain countries. Is it different when you're here?
I mean, yeah, I can walk around everywhere. I prefer not to. Not for any other reason, but I guess what you're asking is it nice to be here where you don't have so many people who may recognize me? So yeah, one part, it's lovely because Melbourne itself is very pretty. I remember when I came here, I was just telling my team that I had so much time and so much quietude here that I began writing a book. Like it was so lending itself to writing a book. Yeah, so it's really wonderful to be here. And I also, I don't know if it's true or not, but my experience of Melbourne and why I like it here is it's got an amazingly gentle sporting culture. That's one thing I remember Melbourne for, that it had so many sporting facilities and little clubs for people to participate in. So I look forward to showing that to my friends here if I get the opportunity.
How has your career morphed and changed? You mentioned before about somewhat of a pressure maybe to keep producing hit after hit after hit. Is that something that you feel innately?
No, not at all, actually. And, you know, the good part of my career for 30 years is that I just make what I feel like making. And sometimes it just goes right, I don't know how. Sometimes it goes wrong, and I still don't know how. So I like that space where I'm really not planning out to churn out a hit after hit. I was joking. They turned out to be good. And I do realize most of the times that I make a successful film, it's not because of me. You know, I just happen to be a part of it, and I'm not being modest or humble about it. It's true. And similarly, you know, when I end up making a film, I feel extremely proud that I at least took a chance of trying a different film. Yeah. So there's no pressure like that. But like I said, I always, for years that I've worked, and I've worked a lot of years and a lot of films, I've only done it when I felt like doing it. So at this point in time, I don't feel like doing it for some time. But I'll be back. My kids are both going to colleges, and I want to spend a little time with my daughter. So I've taken time off for that. When you're shooting films, you don't get any time. So I think I've gone a little lazy, and I'm enjoying this little relaxed, laid back. And yeah, if you're laid back, then I think Melbourne's the right place to come.
I think you're right. But what do you think you will feel like making? What do you feel like is next for Shah Rukh Khan?
I want to make an action film, a lot of kicks and punches.
I think that would be very popular as well. Now, for you and where you are in your career, you've achieved so much, been in such a huge figure for the Indian cinema industry. But you're also still very concerned with new talent and really nurturing that as well. Why is that such a passion for you?
The more I spend time making films and the more achievements, and the more accolades and goodness that I get because of cinema, I realize the less it actually belongs to me. It's because of the people who have encouraged me to do it. And I think if I can also participate in that, trying to encourage new people, or, nobody can make you or break you. I think if I can just be there, to kind of be guiding or kind of being supporting, or kind of just being there. It's important to, create new talent, especially in the field of writing. I think that's important because writing can be at any age. The other aspects, maybe cinematography and stuff, you have to learn a bit. But I think writing, plus the technology part, I think if we can enthuse people to join cinema in that terms, and if I can do it in the smallest way possible, I'd like to.
Well, you've certainly been there for a lot of people throughout your career as well, including your fans too. Now, I also cover sport on our program, and I have to ask, are you a cricket fan?
Oh yes, I used to play cricket. I used to play at the state level when I was very young.
Do you have an eye on the Ashes series currently between Australia and England?
Yes, I missed a day before. I think Leon did very well. But I follow all the cricket. Because not only because we have a team back home, but
a pretty good one.
A pretty good one, yeah. Hopefully we'll do better this year. But yes, I do watch cricket more often than not. Though of course I must admit the shorter format is gaining a little more popularity with me. It's faster and easier to watch. Though I do watch the 5-day matches also. I keep awake late nights.
Shah Rukh Khan, thank you very much for joining us on News
Thank you,
Breakfast.
Georgie.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on your show early morning.
Well, move over, Hollywood, because Bollywood has come to town. Global icon, actor, producer and women's advocate Shah Rukh Khan is in Melbourne for the Indian Film Festival. But today he was awarded an honorary doctorate of letters at Trobe University for his humanitarian work and announced a 4-year, $200,000 research scholarship for a yet-to-be-determined female Indian candidate.
That is one place where I find youngsters have opportunities not just for sports and studies, just a better life. And to be able to get that offer to one girl every year from India, I think it's a very kind gesture.
The honour in recognition of his work with women, especially through the Mir Foundation that focuses on the rehabilitation of acid attack survivors.
The work we are doing with these ladies and the strength and courage they show in everyday life, and I genuinely feel they're the most beautiful women in the world.
When we think of Shah Rukh Khan, we think of excellence. His commitment to diversity, his commitment to inclusiveness, the empowerment of women.
What do you love about him?
Everything about him. I've been his fan since like, I don't know, since I was 2.
He has given me this impression of, how a guy should be and how a guy should do romance.
But it wasn't all serious today. In front of cameras from around the world, the Indian megastar also got the chance to get up close and personal with some Aussie wildlife. Oh, and there was also the chance for a bit of dancing.